Hello there, friend. It's late, or perhaps just a quiet moment on your walk, and your mind is humming with activity like a Pikachu on a power line. With this video, you'll either fall asleep promptly, or you'll be winding down and using your affinity for Pokémon to literally rewire your brain to take advantage of your superpowers and counter those pesky weaknesses. It's the very definition of a win-win. If you're a neurodivergent soul in love with Pokémon, and you're seeking a bit of wisdom and maybe a dash of mischief to help you understand yourself better, this video was tailor-made for you. Get cozy, physically or mentally, because I'm about to spin some yarns and drop some knowledge. Think of me as a strange old pokey professor who's seen a thing or two, speaking softly by the campfire. You don't need to fall asleep immediately. You might miss the best parts. But I will invite you to relax and imagine your Poké team snoring gently around you. This is a journey through your own mind, wrapped in a Pokémon dreamcoat, filled with humor, heart, and maybe an odd tale or two. Ready? Let's begin our adventure. Before you even begin, you have to know, what do you really want? Like, deep down. It's a simple question with a labyrinthine answer, especially for a neurodivergent Pokémon fan whose brain lights up like a Pikachu's tail at the thought of their favorite hyper-focus. Maybe you fixate on Pokémon because it feels safe and joyful, a world where things make sense. Perhaps collecting Pokédex entries or mastering battle strategies gives you a sense of achievement and control that the real world doesn't always offer. There's no shame in that. In fact, researchers have found that these kinds of special interests can be profoundly beneficial for autistic people, and many ADHD folks share this trait too. Special interests often serve as outlets that reduce anxiety and improve mental health, even boosting social opportunities and future skills. That comfort you feel replaying Fire Red for the 10th time or memorizing every move in Jolteon's Learn set. It's your brain taking a deep, healing breath. Let's talk about Pokémon as a hyper-focus. You might have been told you're obsessed, but around here we call it passion. Consider this. Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokémon, was a neurodivergent kid once. He spent his childhood collecting bugs with almost single-minded joy. People thought it was odd, yet he dreamed of sharing that joy with others. He said he wanted Pokémon to give children the same happiness he found in bug collecting. And guess what? He succeeded spectacularly. That childhood fixation became the basis of a world billions love. A special interest can be rocket fuel. In Tajiri's case, his autistic traits of intense focus and love of collecting helped him create a whole new universe for us to explore. So, if anyone's ever scoffed at your deep love of Pokémon, remember that the very thing they mock might be your superpower in disguise. Take a moment to ask yourself, behind the hundreds of hours breeding shiny EVs or planning your ultimate team, what desire is being fulfilled? Maybe it's comfort. The Pokémon world is predictable, with clear rules. There's a reason many autistic folks find it appealing that Pokémon games have a structured, rule-bound universe. Maybe it's mastery. Leveling up gives a tangible sense of progress when real-life progress feels murky. Or perhaps it's belonging. The Pokémon community can feel like a tribe, where your knowledge earns respect and you meet kindred spirits. Whatever it is, that desire is real and valid. Listen to it. just as a hungry Snorlax isn't obsessed with food, but simply knows what it needs. Your fixations point to genuine needs or goals. Embrace the truth that your passions have purpose. It's actually changed the way I think and helped me understand myself a little more. Your love for this world might be your mind's way of guiding you toward joy, understanding, and even self-improvement. If we're going to make any actual progress, we really need to take a peek inside that big old noggin of yours. The mentality, the beliefs, and self-narratives driving your habits. Our brains are like trickster Pokémon sometimes, casting illusions about ourselves. What stories are you telling yourself day in and day out? Perhaps you see yourself as a Magikarp splashing about uselessly, convinced you'll never become anything more. Or maybe you think you have to evolve into something you're not, just to be accepted. These beliefs can run deep, especially if you're neurodivergent in a world that hasn't been kind about it. Society might have labeled you the odd one, the lazy one, the daydreamer. And over time, you internalize those voices like a poisonous toxic, slowly sapping your HP. First, let's challenge the accuracy of those narratives. Are they true, or are they as bogus as a Team Rocket scheme? Consider ADHD for a moment. Many people with ADHD grow up being scolded for not trying hard enough, for being scatterbrained or lazy. But in reality, ADHD is not a character flaw. It's a neurological condition of uneven attention regulation. You might hyper-focus for hours on a game. We've seen you chaining wild encounters until 3 a.m. to get that shiny, yet struggle to start a dull homework assignment. Research suggests ADHD brains have plenty of attention, just difficulty controlling where it goes. And all that blame and just use willpower talk, it's nonsense. Constant criticism and misunderstanding can crush self-esteem. If you've felt that hit, you're not alone. People with ADHD and autism often wrestle with low self-esteem after years of feeling not enough. And low self-esteem is a sneaky devil. It can trick you into avoiding challenges or hiding your true self for fear of failure or rejection. So, what beliefs are guiding your daily life? For example, do you tell yourself, I can't make friends because I'm too weird? Or, if I can't do something perfectly, why do it at all? These are mental scripts that might be running in the background, like a glitched Pokédex, messing with your choices. It might be time to rewrite them. You're the narrator of your own tale. Try seeing your journey the way a wise elder or a good therapist might, with compassion and realism. Maybe you're not a failed Magikarp at all. Maybe you're a Magikarp training in secret, on the cusp of evolving into a mighty Gyarados once conditions are right. The evidence is on your side. You have grown and learned through your interests and efforts, even if it's not obvious to others yet. Every time you navigated a complex game mechanic or connected with someone over a shared fandom, you proved you're capable. Start telling the story of the capable, quirky hero in training instead of the story of the hopeless outcast. Your brain will believe what you repeat, so make the narrative a good one. And if you catch yourself thinking in absolutes, I always mess up, no one will ever get me. Plan a counter for that, like it's an opposing gym leader's signature Pokémon. Our beliefs should be like well-trained EV, able to evolve when given new experience. Rigid thinking, I'm just a failure, or I must mask my true self to survive, might feel safe because it's familiar, but it can hold you back from trying new strategies. In therapy speak, this is a bit like cognitive behavioral therapy. We question the thought, find evidence, and reframe it if it's not helping. Are you really a failure, or did you just faint in one round of the battle? Because battles can be retried, and fainting isn't permanent if you learn and heal. So, the next time a negative thought about yourself roars in like a wild Charizard, remember to question its truth. You deserve the same kindness and patience you'd give to your favorite Pokémon learning a new move. For me at least, this next part is probably the most important part. Take a look around. Are you in an environment that helps you evolve? Or are you a fire type stuck in a water gym? Environment is a big deal, my friend. Even the strongest Charmander struggles when it's raining. In the context of your life, environment means both your physical surroundings and the social spaces you inhabit. Do they nurture you or do they drain you? A lot of neurodivergent folks underestimate how much control they, eventually, can have over their environment. As an autistic or ADHD individual, you might be extra sensitive to things others shrug off. Harsh fluorescent lights that feel like flash attack to your eyes. Loud crowds that feel like a wild explode screaming in your ear. Or clutter that makes your thoughts as jumbled as a confused ray hit. Adjusting your environment can profoundly affect your well-being. Something as simple as dimming lights, using noise-canceling headphones, or finding a snug, calm mind corner can reduce sensory overload and anxiety. Think of it as building your personal Pokémon habitat. Add and remove elements so that it suits your unique needs. A well-organized, structured space with visual schedules or labels can be a lifesaver if you have executive function troubles. Remember, even the most chaotic poison-type swamp can be purified and managed with a bit of care and maybe a good repel spray. Beyond the physical, let's talk social environment, your biomes and allies. Are you hanging out in places where you can meet the right fellow adventurers? In Pokémon, if you want to catch a surfer, you go to water. If you want a dragon, you explore dark caves. In life, if you crave friends who geek out about the same things, or mentors who appreciate your quirks, you might need to seek out new biomes. That could mean joining a Discord server for neurodivergent gamers, going to local meetups, board game cafes, anime clubs, Pokemon Go community days, or even just finding online forums where people speak your language. The world is surprisingly full of your kind of people, scattered like hidden Pokemon in tall grass. And connecting with them is not just a nice to have, it's actually linked to thriving. Research shows that autistic adults who feel connected to more social groups, be it other autistic folks, a gaming community, a family circle, report better mental well-being and fewer depression symptoms. Feeling like part of a tribe where you don't have to mask or apologize for who you are is like finding a secret Pokémon center in the wilderness. It restores you. If your current environment, school, work, home, is full of people who don't get you or even mistreat you, it might be time to gradually chart a path to a healthier one. I won't pretend this is easy. Sometimes you're stuck in Mount Moon or Team Rocket's hideout a bit longer than you'd like. But keep an eye out for exit routes and allies. Maybe a teacher, co-worker, or family member becomes an unexpected ally. Someone who sees your strengths and gives you that evolution stone of encouragement. You do not want to waste years and then realize you were holding an Everstone this whole time. Maybe you negotiate small changes, like a quieter workspace or a flexible schedule, to make your environment more bearable. If there's a chance to transfer to a program or job that aligns better with your interests, like moving from a sales job that's killing you to a library or tech job where your detail focus shines, consider it. That's changing your biome to one that fits your type. And let's not forget, environment is also about support systems. If you're autistic, being in an autism-friendly environment, perhaps an autism support group, or just a friend circle that knows and respects your needs, can mean the difference between wilting and blooming. If you're ADHD, surrounding yourself with people who embrace your spontaneity and maybe help keep you on track with gentle reminders is huge. One more thing. Don't be afraid to carry your environment with you in small ways. Your comfiest clothes, a hat to dim the bright lights, the soundtrack of Viridian Forest in your earbuds to calm you. These are portable pieces of a safe environment you can deploy when needed. You're effectively casting safeguard on yourself, creating a buffer between you and a harsh world. Over time, you'll curate a life space that feels more like home and less like a hostile terrain. You deserve to live in an ecosystem where you can thrive, not just survive. This one can be a difficult topic. Let's talk appearance. In real life, for neurodivergent people, appearance often involves something stressful, masking. You know, that thing where you act more normal to fit in, like a ditto transforming to blend into the crowd. Autistic folks are especially familiar with this strategy. You force eye contact, rehearse social small talk, hide your stims, laugh when you're not sure what's funny, all to avoid sticking out. It can be conscious or unconscious, a survival tactic learned over years. And yes, sometimes it helps you get by in the short term, much like a Zoroark's illusion ability can help it avoid a fight. But here's the hard truth. Doing this constantly can be exhausting and damaging to your well-being. Masking has been described as having a devastating impact on mental health for many autistic people. It chips away at your sense of self, leaving you anxious, depressed, and utterly drained because you're effectively in disguise 24/7. Think about it. If you're always performing as something you're not, when do you get to rest and just be? It's like a Pokémon that never gets to return to its Pokéball to recharge, always out there using a PP on facade. So, while appearance and first impressions do matter in our social world, authenticity matters too. The goal isn't to throw away your masks entirely. Sometimes they are necessary, and it's your right to use them when you need to feel safe. The goal is to gradually make sure you're presenting the real you to the people who matter, so that the feedback you get is aimed at the real you. If you constantly mask and people praise the mask, a part of you inside might feel isolated, thinking they only like the fake version of me. That can deepen loneliness. On the flip side, Showing your true colors, even just a little more, can attract the right people into your life. The ones who resonate with your vibe. You know, the Misties and Brocks who will travel with you through thick and thin. Let's do a quick self-check. How do others see you right now? And is that aligned with who you want to be and the kind of feedback or relationships you want? If you're dressing like a Team Rocket grunt, metaphorically, but inside you're more of a kind-hearted professor, there's a mismatch. If you always hide your enthusiasm because you're scared of being judged as childish, you might inadvertently push away fellow enthusiasts who would love the passionate, playful you. That's the magic of authenticity. It's a beacon to others who are looking for the same connection. Yes, it carries the risk of someone not understanding you, maybe even teasing you. Some people might roll their eyes if you start info-dumping Pokémon lore. Their loss. But it also carries the reward of being seen and loved for who you truly are. When others see something authentic or quirky about you, it also acts as a filter. The ones who respond positively are likely your people. The ones who scoff, well, they were never going to appreciate the real you anyway. So think of appearance as the avatar you present in this massive multiplayer game of life. You can customize it, play with it, but try not to stray too far from your true stats. Don't set all your effort to appearing as a normal type if you're a vibrant electric/dragon dual type at heart. Not only is it a waste of your unique advantages, it's also plain tiring to keep up. Work towards being comfortable in your own skin, one small step at a time. Because when you do, you'll start getting the kind of feedback and relationships you actually want. Ones based on reality and mutual understanding. That, my friend, is worth any initial awkwardness or raised eyebrow you might encounter. You might just find that being genuine feels as liberating as a Butterfree finally released from its Pokeball into the wild. The next part is where we really start putting all this into action. But first, for those of you still very awake, let us appease the algorithm gods and help spread this to more people like us by going down to the comments and debating. How much masking is too much masking? And have you ever been guilty of using it as an excuse to stay in your comfort zone? The next part is gonna make that feel like comment bait, but I promise this next part will make it make sense. Time to get down to the meat and potatoes. Behavior. What actions are you actually taking each day? Are they getting you closer to your goals? Are you pressing the right super effective moves? Or are they just comfortable defaults, like button mashing? It's a hard question, I know. We humans are creatures of habit, and neurodivergent folks often have extra sticky habits. Some routines and behaviors are our lifelines. We thrive on certain rituals or hyper-focus sessions, but others can become traps. Let's shine a friendly light on your daily habits, your morning routine, how you handle work or school tasks, how you spend your evenings, how you cope with stress. Is there a pattern of avoidance or inefficiency that's holding you back? For instance, say your dream is to become a game designer. Are you spending any time practicing coding or art, using Thunderbolt on that goal? Or Do you find yourself procrastinating and just mindlessly scrolling Pokememes for hours? That's the splash attack of procrastination. If it's the latter, you're not alone. Oh, believe me, you're in vast company. An estimated 75% of people with ADHD are classified as chronic procrastinators. So procrastination is practically the national sport of ADHD land. It often stems from executive function challenges, difficulty initiating tasks, especially boring ones, and a brain wired to chase dopamine. Starting is the hardest part. ADHD research notes that transitions are tough, yet once hyper-focus kicks in, you might blaze through the task in no time. Knowing this, you can gamify your behaviors. How can you entice your brain to start the unappealing tasks? Maybe you sprinkle in a reward, bribing your brain with Poké snacks. Or maybe you involve your special interest. If you need to exercise, pretend you're hatching an egg. These little tactics are like using an X attack or quick claw to give your moves a boost. They cheat the system just enough to get you going. Another angle. Are there positive habits you know would help that you struggle with? Like getting to bed at a reasonable hour, eating regularly, stepping outside occasionally to get sunlight like a grass type, soaking up energy. For ADHD and autistic individuals alike, routine can be a double-edged sword. We often resist structure because so many structures we encountered were ill-fitting, neurotypical routines that felt like someone else's shoes. But we also do need some structure to not drift into chaos. The trick is to tailor your routines to you. Research suggests that when neurodivergent people craft routines that match their style, it actually helps reduce overwhelm and increases control over life. Think of creating a routine like designing your own gym badge challenge. It should be challenging enough to be meaningful but suited to your abilities. If mornings are hard, maybe your routine is simply a sequence of rewarding steps, music and coffee and a quick Pokémon battle or episode to wake your brain, rather than the dreary get up and go that others do. If focusing is hard, maybe you break tasks into short battles with breaks in between. Hello Pomodoro technique, which is basically wild encounters timed. If remembering tasks is an issue, externalize it. Write lists as if they're quest logs. Set alarms that play the Pokémon Center tune when it's time to switch tasks. Whatever keeps it fun and external to relieve your work in memory. One more behavioral insight. Sometimes we keep doing something that isn't working simply because it's familiar. It's like using Thunderbolt on a ground type over and over because it's your favorite move, even though it's getting you nowhere. If you notice a behavior that consistently leads to bad outcomes, for example, every time you procrastinate until the last minute, you end up in panic mode and hate the result. Or every time you stay up all night gaming, the next day is miserable. That's a sign it might be time to try a different move. Experiment with changes in small doses. Instead of all night gaming, set a cutoff one night and see if the next day you feel better. Wow. Using rest at a normal time actually restored HP. Instead of avoiding that conversation you need to have, write a script or practice with a friend, and then just initiate it, using hyper beam of courage and getting it done. You might be surprised that new behaviors can lead to new, better outcomes. Imagine that. It's scary to break out of habitual patterns, I know, but you don't have to overhaul your whole life at once. Just tweak one behavior at a time, like swapping out one move in your Pokémon's moveset. Use an HM to cut down one barrier. Teach one TM of a helpful skill. These small changes accumulate, and soon your behavior patterns will start aligning more with your goals than against them. And if you slip, which you will, we all do, remember, in Pokémon, even if you faint, you don't lose all your experience. You try again, a little wiser. Pause for a moment and take stock. What's actually happening in your life right now as a result of all the above? Your desires, mentality, environment, appearance, and behaviors. This is the situation report. Think of it like the town map of your current state. Are you progressing toward the next badge, or wandering in circles in the tall grass? Sometimes we get so caught up in our routines that we fail to notice we're stuck in a repeating loop, like a game character who hasn't triggered the next story event and is just grinding without progress. Are you in a stable, healthy place, albeit maybe slow going? Or do you feel stagnant? Like you're in an endless Groundhog Day of the same frustrations? Be honest with yourself here, but gentle. The goal is not to beat yourself up for being stuck. It happens to all of us. The goal is just to notice. Maybe you realize that despite longing for change, you've essentially been reliving the same day over and over. Wake up late, rush and feel behind, coast through the day in survival mode, hyper-focus on escapism at night, then sleep too little and repeat. That's a status condition many of us know too well. Or you might notice your situation has actually started shifting. Perhaps you've joined that online community and feel a bit more hopeful. Or you've been applying to new jobs, or you simply have learned more about yourself recently. Self-knowledge is huge progress. Whatever it is, take a mental snapshot. This is your current save file. If life feels like it's not moving forward, we might need to shake things up. Often, being stuck is partly due to fear. We get comfy in discomfort because it's familiar. It's like staying in the safari zone, afraid to venture out because at least you know the wild Pokémon there. Sometimes we need a little push or a gentle self-nudge to break the cycle. Psychologically, failure and fear can trap us in inaction. Studies have found that people often avoid engaging with tasks they failed at, underlearning from past mistakes because it bruised the ego. In other words, you might be stuck because something didn't go well once. Maybe you tried a new social activity and it was awkward, or you attempted a project and gave up, and now a part of you says, better not try that again. This is normal, but it's also kind of like having paralysis. It keeps you from moving, even though the threat isn't current. Recognizing this is important. Are there areas in your life where one or two failures made you give up entirely? If yes, consider whether those conclusions are really fair. One lost battle doesn't mean the war is lost. Ask any Pokémon trainer who's blacked out and run to the Pokémon Center in shame. They still eventually became champions. Well, at least the persistent ones did. Let's also consider your external situation. Is your life actually changing in ways you want? Are you leveling up in skills, or deepening relationships, or accumulating achievements, big or small? Or do you feel like you're in the same place as a year ago? If things are static and that frustrates you, don't despair. Awareness is the first step to change. You can't fix a problem you haven't identified. Now that you see the loop, you can strategize and escape. Maybe you need to trigger a plot event. Sign up for a class, have a heart-to-heart with someone, get a formal diagnosis or therapy, something that jolts the storyline. Maybe the key is hidden in plain sight. Recall that sometimes in games, you have to go talk to a certain NPC to progress. In life, that might be reaching out for help or mentorship. Are there NPCs, people or resources you've been ignoring who could offer advice or opportunities? Your situation doesn't have to remain a flat line. With a few shifts, even small ones, you might start to see movement again. On the other hand, if you're seeing changes, however minor, take a moment to acknowledge them. Maybe you're less anxious than you used to be about certain things, or you've gotten better at a skill, or you have one or two more friends than last year. Those count. It's all too easy to focus on what's not happening and ignore the incremental progress. But just like watching a Pokémon's XP bar slowly inch toward the next level, you must notice and appreciate that growth, or you'll feel like you're going nowhere even when you're advancing. In summary, step back and survey your life with curiosity. Where are you now, and how do you feel about it? This is not the end of your story, not by a long shot. It's just a checkpoint. If it's a pleasant one, great. Enjoy it and plan your next goal. If it's a frustrating one, take heart. Even the most tangled forests have exits, and even the longest droughts end with rain. By seeing the situation clearly, you've already taken a step outside the loop and into the role of strategist for your own life. And that's a powerful place to be. Every day, every choice, every success, and every failure have been giving you something: feedback. In Pokémon terms, think of feedback as the experience points you earn from each battle, or each encounter, whether you win or run away. The question now is, what are you doing with all that XP? Are you letting it accumulate, reflecting on it, and using it to level up the skills or parts of you that need growth? Or is it just sitting there unacknowledged, like experience points that haven't been allocated because you haven't opened your status menu in ages? Life has this neat feature. Even when you fail or struggle, you still gain knowledge about what doesn't work, which is valuable for figuring out what might work next time. It's like how even a lost battle can give your Pokémon some EVs that make them stronger in the long run. But to really benefit, you have to process that feedback. That means looking at your loop and asking, what am I learning from this? What is this situation teaching me about what I need to change or accept? Perhaps you've learned that you function a lot better with a consistent sleep schedule. The hard way through many groggy mornings. That's feedback telling you to invest in your stamina stat by protecting your sleep. Maybe you've realized social media binges make your mood worse. Feedback suggesting you might limit that toxic attack on your mental health and replace it with a healthier hobby. Or you've noticed how excited you get when discussing your special interest with someone who cares. which is feedback that community and passion are essential ingredients for your happiness. Time to level up your social stat by seeking more of those interactions. The concept of leveling up is powerful. It implies that you don't have to tackle everything at once. You can focus on one or two areas at a time. In RPGs, maybe you grind to raise your Pokémon's speed stat for a while, then switch to training its attack. In life, you could decide that, next, I want to level up my organization skills. For instance, use the XP past chaotic misses, late assignments, missed appointments, to fuel new strategies. Try a planner app, set alarms, ask a friend to be an accountability buddy, or maybe you choose to level up self-compassion, taking all the feedback of years of burnout and saying, I need to learn to be kinder to myself and take breaks. Or you focus on leveling up communication, using lessons from past misunderstandings to practice expressing yourself more clearly, or advocating for your needs more assertively. Each of these is a skill you can improve. And like in the games, leveling up sometimes comes with evolution, a noticeable transformation in how you carry yourself and approach the world. One day, you'll handle a situation that used to fluster you and realize, whoa, I'm different now. That's the evolved you, with higher stats and maybe a new ability or two. Feedback isn't always fun. Sometimes it comes in the form of criticism or failure that stings. But remember these wise words from the Greater Good Science Center. People often learn less from failure because it hurts our ego, so we avoid thinking about it. The key is to detach a bit. See the feedback as information, not a judgment on your worth. It's data for your personal Pokédex. If you can view it a tad more objectively, like, okay, that job interview went poorly because I got anxious, noted. Maybe I can practice with a friend next time. You transform pain into progress. This is easier said than done, of course. It might help to imagine the feedback happening to a character in a story. What advice would you give them? That little mental trick of self-distancing can make the lessons easier to digest. Lastly, don't forget to celebrate your wins. They are feedback too, telling you what you're doing right. Humans have a bias to fixate on problems, but if you beat a tough gym, achieved a goal, or overcame a challenge, damn well savor it. Treat yourself, share it with a friend who cheers for you, or just quietly bask in pride. Positive feedback, even self-given, reinforces your brain to seek more growth. It's like gaining a bunch of XP, and also finding a rare candy, a double boost. Think about the XP you've gathered listening to this, the insights or feelings that popped up. Maybe you identified a next quest for yourself, something you want to work on, or a perspective shift you want to hold on to. In this gentle moment as you wind down or stroll on, commit it to memory. You are the hero of this story, writing it day by day. You have allies, seen and unseen. You have tools, knowledge, creativity, resilience. And you have the inherent worth and potential that every living creature in the Pokémon world and real world has. When things get hard, remember how many times Ash Ketchum got knocked down before becoming a Pokémon champion. He literally spent years losing leagues before he finally won. Your path might meander, and that's okay. With each step, each loop, each level gained, you're becoming more you. Now, take a deep breath, Feel the weight of today's adventures settle. If you're about to sleep, let these thoughts drift and play in your dreams. Maybe you'll battle a few inner demons with your favorite Pokémon at your side. If you're continuing your day, carry this odd little professor's voice with you, reminding you to be bold, be kind to yourself, and use those max potions of self-care when needed. You've got a lot of evolving left to do, and I, for one, am excited to see what you become. Until our paths cross again, good night, good luck, and may your journey to catch 'em all be filled with growth and wonder. Sleep well, dear trainer, and keep leveling up in your own beautiful way. Press A in the comments to save your progress.